From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode, Techpoint talks tips for small businesses seeking capital. We meet a team of veterans eagerly doing the dirty work, and we take you to the lake for an inspiring success story.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, Grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart Family Carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart, and then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. It has long been said that you need to spend money to make money. First task, then, is accessing that capital. Tingu T, President and CEO of Techpoint, shares some tips.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
Well, thanks very much for having me on the show. My name is Tim Goody. I currently serve as the president and CEO of Techpoint, our industry growth initiative for our digital innovation economy. Prior to my current role at Techpoint, I spent about 17 years total in alternative finance, particularly around venture investing, the last 13 years leading up a lot of venture investment programs for the state of Indiana. Financing partner or capital partner, I use the word partner very intentionally. Other business partnerships, even though your customer base you're trying to serve, once you enter into that relationship, it tends to go multi-run. We're all, as business owners, small business owners in particular, establishing the long-term partnership mindset is important because these are crucial elements to making your business success, both short-term and long-term. Capital in particular, there are primarily 2 forms of capital for small businesses. One is debt financing. These are typical bank loans or other lenders. Those can be relatively short-term in nature. When I say short-term, could be a 12 months term loan or 2 to 3 year maturity phase. But switching to the equity-based financing, these are the venture capital come into play. Those type of capital provider are primarily in a long-term investment relationship with the companies they put capital into in return, they receive ownership in. So when I say long-term, these are typically investment relationships will last anywhere between 5 to 10 years. So even in those bucket ranges, it's not I'm getting a check and I'm walking away to do my business. And a lot of times both lenders and equity investors have certain expectations on the capital they're putting into your company. So I will encourage all of the small business owners to really think about capital providers as a long-term business partner. That will be instrumental to your success. Aligning expectation up front, right? What is the performance success metrics that you want to sell to the capital providers? Do you have the same alignment? Do you have the same timeline? Do you have the return expectations for the capital you are about to receive? Having those mindset into that alignment going in early on, understanding the expectations really set up for success. As small business owners or business owners generally, or business executive in the corporate setting, you're always selling something. You're trying to attract talent. That's selling to talent. You're selling to customers. And similar here, you're trying to bring in a capital provider. Tailoring your message to the audience is really important, and a lot of these capital providers, they vet or screen application like this for a living. So keep in mind they look through thousands, hundreds and thousands in a given year. In order to be able to triage that quickly, this from a mindset perspective, it's very natural for them to automatically put things in buckets. So that's a first step. Which bucket do you fall into from application or business owner application perspective? And the second piece is how do you stand out when you're thinking about you're trying to compete with hundreds of thousands of other people of the business in a given year? Oftentimes that's seen as, again, this is very human. We know as a business owner, I know my business so well. I can get mired into what resonates with me personally and professionally, what I care about, and not necessarily thinking about what's the best way. Oftentimes the most compelling way is pitch. It's a more simplified pitch that will really resonate with the audience. So really understand the capital provider will resonate with them. Most of them care about how they're going to make a profit, to your point earlier, how they're going to get money back and how they're going to make profit off of it. So really the aha moment is, what is the growth strategy? How does more capital can lead to more revenue? And then, and why are you well positioned in this marketplace to win that growth strategy and win against your competitors? It could be a different market positioning. It could be a different product featuring. But what I've seen a lot oftentimes is founders and operators get so honed in about why my product is so great, it doesn't tie it entirely to the next phase. How does it lead to more revenue growth? Because from a capital financing perspective, that's what the lenders and equity providers care most about. Oftentimes, I will advise the business owners to ask for feedback. If it's a no, why is it turned down? And from that, it's usually pretty telling. It's either if you're not meeting underwriting criteria or lending criteria, it's okay, my growth story, my numbers doesn't match up. Or sometimes it's investors or equity or debt investors are not resonating with the market opportunity. So figuring out what from a learning perspective, really tease out the feedback. Folks are usually turning folks down. Either they don't believe in the team, believe the team can really execute, they don't believe in the market opportunity, or the numbers don't meet their criteria. So those are the three things that will really kind of goes back into the numbers need to support the aha moment story you're trying to resonate and deliver the confidence to the capital provider, you as a leader, and you got the team to really execute, deliver results. Market timing, I think, feeds into the growth story, right? As part of the why, not just why you, but why now question. For instance, right now, when the market is up and both in terms of this is potentially emerging market, nobody else was doing it, but we believe now is the time for customer to really drive in and buy. That's where that could be a story. A different story could be we're in the down market now because our solution really solve a pain point in terms of cost saving for our customers. So that the market timing really kind of feeds into the growth strategy story. Those two needs to be clearly linked. I think there's capital still available very much in the marketplace, but from investors and lender perspectives, because of the market uncertainty, the underwriting criteria is starting to get a little more stringent. So that does not mean that they're investing less or even lending less. It just means our founders, entrepreneurs really need to get our stories buttoned up. Again, the numbers need to reflect the strategy. The strategy need to resonate in terms of the overall storytelling.
Our industry focus today is on remediation services, remedies for contaminated sites. If your workplace ever has that kind of challenge, it can be a daunting task, best left to the experts. Sage Remediation is a locally owned, veteran-owned business that takes care of tasks too dangerous for others.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Sage began in 2020 with doing environmental remediation and consulting with a focus on federal contracts. Yeah, so if you look at a lot of different environmental companies, they have the consulting side, they have one or two areas that they focus on, or they do the construction side. One of the things that we're very unique is that we can do a full turnkey service all the way from the very beginning of an investigation all the way through the cleanup and then the closure. Especially when we're focused focusing on the federal sites. A lot of federal bases have contaminants there, and so, with us being a, service-able vet-owned small business and understanding those sites, going in there and, cleaning up those chemicals is something that we take a lot of pride in. Yeah, so I joined the Army in 2011. I started off as infantry with the 82nd Airborne, and then ended up going towards the Special Operations route, being a Green Beret. I was active duty for 9 years, and then in 2019 ended up coming over to the National Guard side, so I'm now with 20th Special Forces Group drilling out of Atterbury. When I came out of active duty, I was an enlisted guy, so I didn't have a college degree, and had, trying to navigate the civilian side without a college degree was a little bit difficult. And so ended up getting a business development job with another environmental firm, and was looking at the federal space and seeing that there wasn't a lot of service-able vet-owned small business companies that play in the environmental sandbox, and decided to start my own company and navigate those waters. When I made that transition from active duty to the civilian side, that transition was really hard, and with that became a lot of passion on trying to help veterans navigate that transition. And so we really made a cognizant effort to chase veterans, to bring them over. Veterans bring a lot of different skill sets to the civilian side that a lot of companies don't really see unless they can hire veterans. With that is always, they want to take responsibility. They want to, those hard tasks, they want to go figure out a problem set and impress you with the solutions. So we have, whether it's Sage or other companies that we've worked with, have really tried to promote hiring veterans and letting them be surprised by the outcome that the veterans provide. I think it's a two-way street. I think that the companies need to understand what they're looking for as far as capabilities that the veteran's bringing, and then the veteran needs to be able to convey what skill sets they have. If a company hires a veteran for a position and the veteran's not ready for that position, then it's not going to be a good relationship. So a company could sit there and say, hey, we got our veteran, but it didn't pan out, so now we're scared of veterans. So it's really just going out there and having those open dialogue communications between the company and the veteran to understand each other's needs and each other's capabilities to make that right fit. Because especially if it's going to be their first job out of the active duty side, it's going to be hard. That whole transition is going to be tough, and so having open dialogue, open communication, support is going to be very important for success. One is change. Whether it's on the environmental side or it's working with veterans and then trying to promote them into the business space and trying to grow that. Both sides are extremely exciting, especially for a new company, and seeing us progress as a company and grow and be able to hire, and then two, be able to, veterans that we worked with a couple years ago and it's mostly people that we've known that have said, hey, I just need help with a resume. Help me, describe my experience in the military so the civilian world understands it. And then seeing that person go to the civilian world, really crush their first job, and then progress up the corporate ladder is extremely exciting. The future for Sage is very bright. I have talked about that that we're very heavy on federal contracts. One of the things that we did start here in Indianapolis is private utility locating as a veteran business entity, and being able to watch that locally start taking off in the last 4 or 5 months has been extremely exciting.
Time for a favorite segment here on Business Equity and Opportunities, our success story. It starts with 2 teenagers identifying a need. They start to service that need. Word spreads. More people want the service. Teens realize they're onto something. So after some time in the military, the friends decide to start their own business, renting jet skis. Like many young minority entrepreneurs, they found the seas of small business choppy at times, competitor or two in the waters too, but they're managing adversity and jet skiing towards success.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
We are Jet Ski Indy. We are Indianapolis's first jet ski delivery service that is based on deliveries. So we service all of the DNR lakes here in the state of Indiana. So we deliver jet skis. So you book with us on our website or over the phone, and then you schedule your drop-off location, and then we bring the skis to you at that location. It's nice because we're able to offer full-day rentals, hourly rentals, and even multi-day packages. So we're pretty different compared to other traditional jet ski rentals.
We kind of grew up together. Our families were very close. They're both from a small country in Africa called Zimbabwe. So, we stayed together when I was maybe 5, Golden was 6, all the way up to our early teens. And then we got separated after some time. But when I entered high school and Golden was already in his freshman year, then our families moved closer together here in Indianapolis. And that's when we kind of reconnected and had the idea of Jet Ski Indy. The company was started by us in middle of 2021, late 2021. And the idea stemmed from us having this big body of water here, but not really having the means to explore it. So, and the reason we couldn't explore it is because in order to rent here, you have to be 25 years or older, which we weren't or still not. So I ended up buying a jet ski together, a cheap one. It was like a 1996 Yamaha Wave Runner. And after purchasing it, we saw how much people enjoyed it and thought, we can do something with this.
Our biggest problem when it came to starting this company was trying to figure out how to get on this body of water. So we purchased our skis, got our operational stuff in order, and we were actually set to launch on Geist Reservoir last year, but we weren't able to get that contract fulfilled with our local marina just due to some regulations and things that they had going on, so they weren't able to help us. So that's kind of where we hit a pivot with our company. So instead of just being based on one lake here in Indianapolis, we thought, hold on, why don't we try to service the greater Indianapolis area and Indiana as a state as a whole. So we kind of shifted over to the delivery aspect of jet ski rentals, and that's what's been working for us since. So that's kind of where we've been shifting towards.
We had the idea to go for DNR and any public body of water rather than private, just because of the incident here with Geist. They didn't want people renting on it because it was private, and so we understood that, and that's when we said, okay, we have to make a pivot to be able to accommodate those rules, but also still be able to provide this opportunity. So with the public bodies of water and the DNR, we had to purchase DNR passes, so we have access to all those statewide parks and bodies of water. With us being a delivery-based service, we kind of had to just make sure that our pricing and everything was at least within market for other jet ski rentals, while also being able to make sure that we're profitable as well. So since we're still smaller, we're not taking any of our profits currently. We're putting all that back towards the company since we still have payments and stuff to make. We have fuel to pay for to get to all these places and outreach and do things of that nature. But we've just been growing, and between the 2 skis that we have, we're able to, keep our overhead costs, down to a minimum. So we're good for the next year. So we're getting ready to figure out when we want to wrap up for the season. But the next steps are to go ahead and start figuring out expansion and going that way. Everything since we started the company has been 100% either us reaching in our pockets for it or, trying to find things to sell to make up money to make payments and, rentals as well. We're currently working on the Find Your Wave initiative. That's our slogan. It's Jet Ski Indy Find Your Wave. And our purpose behind that is it goes beyond just being out in the water. It's just being able to find your wave in life. So our goal is to help other young entrepreneurs to be able to find those resources, and we can be able to mentor them and show them the roads and the avenues that we went through starting our business to be able to help them to be able to pursue their hobbies and turn them into careers if they so choose. So our next goals right now is to, one, expand our company and be able to purchase more units. So we decided to go ahead and start a GoFundMe page for our company, it's just through our website, so we can be able to raise funds for increasing the number of units in our fleet while also being able to start on this other project so we can start helping other entrepreneurs
entrepreneurs as well?
So at first it was a struggle, and we ran into a lot of obstacles that we could have avoided if we had a little more knowledge. But now that we've got things going, we've reached to like a lot of friendly communities of entrepreneurs and business owners and people who, rent other like boats or PWCs on the water. And, they've given us a lot of advice, and we've taken that, and, we're growing from that.
To me, success is just putting your mind to anything you choose to do, and really make sure that you're enjoying what you do. Like, I think for the two of us, we have so much fun getting to visit all the different bodies of water across the lake and really just get to be our own bosses and really just shape the narrative for the book that we're writing. And our story isn't close to being over with Jet Ski Indy and the projects that we want to do with this, since we have such big dreams and aspirations for it. So we plan to just pursue it full on and try to become as successful as we can be while having fun. Although we have Jet Ski Indy, we're both in college, we're both in school full time because we have other things that we want to pursue as well. Like for me, I'm public health pre-med at the University of Kentucky, and I'm going into my senior year, and I want to be able to bridge the gap between healthcare and entrepreneurship to bring resources and job opportunities to a lot of the people that need them in rural communities in different areas. So I feel like with Jet Ski Indy in particular, this has really helped me get the foot in the door and get the experience that I need when it comes to operations, launching a company, figuring out budgeting, logistics, all the nitty gritty, like down to what color should we make the website, so a lot of those things have really helped me to grow in the aspect of just business. But as soon as I'm done, I go through medical school, I want to be able to change the narrative for a lot of places within Indiana, back in Kentucky where I go to school, and overseas in Zimbabwe where we come from.
Yeah, and for me, I go to school at the University of Cincinnati. I'm doing computer science there, and I'm also a reservist in the United States Marine Corps. I learned a lot of like discipline while I was in my service, and while I'm still continuing to serve. And I feel like that really applies well to the business. And Golden, he has a lot of discipline naturally. I feel like that's another thing we can help in terms of helping younger entrepreneurs, is being able to tell yourself to get up, do this, motivate yourself, and not slack off anything, because it's not easy work.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV, or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.